This is News Shorts.
Welcome to News Shorts. Tired of endless deep dives? This is the first in a new format of videos for the Riaan show, where I'll cover those stories that aren't worth a full extended video. You'll get quick summaries, a thought or two, and maybe a lingering question, all packed into 5, maybe 10 stories per video. Let me know what you think of this idea in the comment section. This doesn't replace my in-depth unpacking videos. It's just an extra format to keep things a little fresh. Let's get to the stories. In yet another shameless display of ANC favoritism, suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, already knee-deep in scandal, has handpicked a former ANC Youth League firebrand, Sibiya Mchunu, as his personal spokesperson. Effective immediately from November 5, Mchunu will field all media flack over Mchunu's Madlanga Commission grilling, his ad hoc committee debacle, and the swirling mess of political meddling allegations. Mchunu, a die-hard ANC loyalist who once rallied against his own party's KZN bosses in a 2017 courtroom showdown and later kissed up to Ramaphosa's presidential bid, was booted from the provincial legislature in May and recently ousted from the Independent Development Trust board. Perfect fit for a minister accused of cozying up to gangsters to twist the cops and courts, right? This reeks of the ANC's endless insider game, where accountability takes a backseat to protecting their own. How much longer will taxpayers foot the bill for this corrupt circus? The please call me dispute finally seems to have wrapped up, with Vodacom and inventor Nkosi Makate having sealed a major agreement this week, putting an end to a drawn-out court battle that dates back to 2001. The deal closes the chapter on a heated disagreement over the creating of the popular Please Call Me service. At the heart of the conflict was Makate's role in developing the callback system for Vodacom. What started as a simple promise of reward turned into years of litigation, with each side clashing over fair compensation. On November 5, 2025, Vodacom's leadership greenlit the settlement, dropping their appeal and opting for an out-of-court resolution. Details of the payout remains under wraps, though the company noted its satisfaction in settling the case. Look who's suddenly all about responsibility. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde, the DA's golden boy, is catching flack from the Cape Crime Crisis Coalition, 4C, for stubbornly refusing to cough up a 3-year-old report on cozy police gang ties, commissioned by Winde himself back in 2022 after a High Court judge called out SAPS leadership for being riddled with gangsters. The Western Cape Police Ombudsman's findings have been gathering dust while communities dodge bullets. The 4C isn't buying Winde's excuse that releasing it would endanger officers. They're calling it straight up hypocrisy, especially since he promised to loop back to the public. Crime expert Dr. Llewellyn McMaster points out things have only gotten worse, with police protection trumping community safety. They've slapped down an ultimatum: hand it over by Friday, or it's court time. Because nothing says transparent governance like burying a life-saving report on gangsterism, right? How long before Winde realizes hiding the truth doesn't make the gangs go away? Then the big story, Sibiya's alleged cartel ties. In a revealing development at the Madlanga Commission, Crime Intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo has implicated suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya in connections to a criminal cartel. Khumalo identified Sibiya along with figures such as Lieutenant General Richard Shibiri, Brigadier Mabangwa Nkwashu, and Captain Mahotle as individuals flagged for cartel associations as early as January. Further details emerged, including Sibiya's use of a vehicle registered to Stewart, a convicted carjacker with an extensive criminal record. Commission evidence, including video and photographic material, depicted Sibiya receiving protection from this individual during an ad hoc committee session, amid allegations of involvement in gang-related bribes and cartel activities. Khumalo reportedly briefed Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Commissioner Fani Masemola in a confidential meeting, yet investigations appear to proceed at a leisurely pace. While Sibiya's representatives have contested these claims, dismissing them as unsubstantiated, the ongoing Madlanga Commission continues to uncover troubling layers within SAPS leadership. One must question the depths of these entanglements and the timeline for meaningful accountability. After all, public funds deserve better stewardship than this prolonged spectacle. And in international news that affects South Africa, the US Supreme Court is currently reviewing a case that challenges President Donald Trump's authority to impose broad tariffs on several countries, including South Africa. The tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEEPA, have been a central part of Trump's foreign policy strategy. However, lower courts have ruled that Trump exceeded his authority, and the Supreme Court's decision could redefine presidential power over trade policy. The case centers around Trump's use of IEEPA to impose tariffs on nearly every US trading partner, citing national emergencies and trade deficits. The administration argues that the IEEPA grants the president broad powers to regulate commerce during emergencies. In contrast, critics contend that the law does not authorize the president to impose tariffs without congressional oversight. The Supreme Court's decision is uncertain, with several possible outcomes. If the court rules that Trump's tariffs are constitutional, it could set a precedent for future presidents to wield similar powers. On the other hand, if the court finds the tariffs unconstitutional, it could lead to refunds for businesses that have already paid the tariffs. However, the administration could pivot to other laws to justify the tariffs, potentially leading to a more complex and bureaucratic process. For South Africa, the outcome of this case could have significant implications for trade relations with the US. If the tariffs are deemed unconstitutional, it could lead to economic relief for South African industries such as agriculture and automotive. However, if the tariffs are upheld, it could perpetuate the current trade tensions and economic uncertainty. And that is all for today. If you have any thoughts, let me hear them in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and if you found any value in this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.